my friends, and welcome back to the rabbit hole. I am so utterly excited for today's video because we are finally doing the best and worst of e.l.f. cosmetics, and you know your girl loves e.l.f. You guys may have seen that I've done best and worst of Milani and Physicians Formula, but for this particular video, because I have so many e.l.f. products, rather than group this video by what I think are the best and worst products, I'm going to do this by category. So if, for example, you're looking for maybe only eyeshadows or primers, you can go to the description box below and just skip to that chapter, so to speak. Let me just be honest with you guys, as somebody who used to look up this type of video when e.l.f. does their glorious 50% off site-wide sales, this is the kind of video that I wanted to find, so hopefully it will be helpful to you, whether you are just shopping the e.l.f. site or it is in fact sale time. A couple more notes. So this video is going to be over all of the makeup. I will be doing a follow-up video to this covering e.l.f.'s brushes, which I also have a lot of. And as far as e.l.f. skincare, I do have a video on this, but I'm hoping to update it in the near future. I've actually found, since I made that video, e.l.f. has come out with even more skincare that is, in my personal opinion, much better. Oh, I've fallen for some of e.l.f.'s new skincare. And of course, I am wearing a full face of e.l.f. in celebration. Everything will be linked in the description box below. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, so we are going to start off with primer, which happens to be one of my absolute favorite categories for makeup in the entire world, if you couldn't already guess from the amount of products you are currently looking at. To me, primer is a combination of skincare and makeup, and those are my two absolute loves, so of course I love primer. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I always find some primers are much better than others, and of course primer has different uses and different skin types that a specific one will work for best, so I'm gonna try my best to explain that here. Let's start with the Luminous Putty Primer, because I know that the Putty Primer in general from e.l.f. is a very, very hyped product. I never bought the Poreless Putty Primer because, to be honest with you, I didn't love the Tarte Silk Canvas, so it would have been silly to buy a dupe for something I didn't love. I'll link that video if you're curious. But I thought I would go ahead and try this one, and e.l.f. didn't disappoint me. I do think that the Poreless Putty Primer is probably better for oily skin, which is what I felt with the Tarte Silk Canvas, and I hoped that a Luminous product would be for dry skin, and they did it. They did a pretty good job here of making a more luminous formula, meaning it gives you a little bit of a glow, but it also glides on the skin more than the Silk Canvas and / how I assume the Poreless Putty Primer works. I mean, if you ask me, that's a perfect amount of glow. It's not over the top, which I felt with their original illuminating primer. Just really, really beautiful. You might get a little bit of that glittery look coming through. In fact, you do, but it's not over the top. I really think this is a great product, especially if you have dry skin and love a luminous finish. Now, you guys probably recognize this packaging right here. This is the OG style of primer, and I own the Poreless Face Primer, which is, in my opinion, a dupe for the Benefit Professional. It's definitely got that pore-filling feeling to it, and it does work well if you tap it into your pores. I think it has pretty poor reviews because a lot of people just don't know that's the best way to use this, as opposed to spreading it, where it doesn't spread anywhere nearly as well as it taps. The Mineral-Infused Face Primer is what I would call more of a classic primer. This has that same type of texture as the Smashbox Original Primer, the Bare Minerals Original Primer, Lancome La Base, all of those types of primers, where it's really just silicone, no added fragrance, spreads really nicely, so this could be a really good choice for more mature skin. It kind of gives your skin a perfect canvas to put your foundation over. And I personally think the Soothing Face Primer is quite underrated, especially if you have more sensitive skin. You may really like this one. It's got aloe in it, no added fragrance, just a very nice, more moisturizing primer that's non-irritating as well. In fact, it is soothing by having that aloe in there. So this is from the Beauty Shield collection. This is the SPF 50 Skin Shielding Primer in the supposed shade Universal Tint. I just gave away a lot of my feelings in the way I phrased that. So what I like about this is it actually is a physical filter. It is only zinc oxide in here, which is excellent if you have more sensitive skin and you can't handle using chemical filter SPFs. An SPF of 50, that's amazing. However, you guys ready for this? You're about to see the shade Universal. Here we go. Ah, yes. This will match every person out there. Now here's the thing, I was about to be a lot harder on this product, but I have to really think about it. The fact that they're calling it a primer means that they're really not expecting you to just wear it on its own. The thing is, it's so pretty that I want to wear it on its own. However, you know, it's not the right tone for me. It's not gonna be the right tone for a lot of people, so I wish so much that this product was an entire line. This right here is the reason why more people don't rave about this, when really at its core, this product has a lot of potential. So, you know, I don't hate it, I don't love it right now, but e.l.f., you've let me know you're capable. Do more with this. This is the Dew Primer from the Jelly Pop collection. I don't think this is going to be available for too much longer. I know it still is right now, but I personally don't like it. I think it is too sticky and too stinky, in my personal opinion. It's very, very scented. Definitely, you see the tackiness of that. I think that's why some people love it though, is it does have that tack to it that grips foundation. But for me personally, as someone with a drier skin type, I don't need that on a daily basis. I'd rather have a smoothing primer, so you know, there's something to keep in mind in terms of determining whether a product is your personal best or not. But you guys, I saved the best for last. I absolutely think the hemp line from e.l.f. is the most slept on release I have ever seen in my life. These products are phenomenal. They're not even available on the Ulta website. Don't ask me why. e.l.f. has this little low-key corner of their website dedicated to this collection, and it is so flipping good. If you guys are an oil as primer type of person, this is the All the Feels facial oil. Oh my gosh, I love this so much. No added fragrance, just really, really straightforward. And then the Puff Puff Primer, this is a lot like the Juno Moonshine Primer. Let me actually grab that really quickly for you guys so we can see. So I'm almost out of my moonshine, but so you see that kind of creamy texture there. So there's the Puff Puff Primer. I'm gonna grab this with the brush, and there's the Juno Moonshine, and we'll smooth them out. So the difference between these two really is that the e.l.f. one contains hemp oil, whereas the Juno contains avocado oil, but look at how similar those guys are. Now, one thing about this type of primer, this is basically an oil and hyaluronic acid primer. You may need to mist your face first to get the hyaluronic acid in particular to spread, but if you have a slightly more mature skin type, if you have any kind of fine lines, these are so worth working with. You can definitely spread them out. Again, you may need to work a little more with these, but it's just so worth it to me. And what's funny is I thought that maybe this is more for dry skin, but I was reading the reviews and a lot of people seem to say they love this on oily skin. I think it's just a matter of making sure you buff it in so you don't have that white cast, again, with any of these hyaluronic acid containing primers. You guys, one more thing with this primer, I already wiped it off, but I'll repump it so I can show you the difference between the primer and the Hello Happy Hydration Cream with the hemp. That one is, in my personal opinion, a step up from their Happy Hydration. Just in case you're a little more of a moisturizer as primer type of person. So there's the moisturizer, there's the primer. You can see it's a lot thicker. So I personally prefer the primer because it comes in this packaging, whereas the moisturizer is in a jar, and I tend to like heavier anyway. This has shea butter in it, so you know, it's just personal preference. I tend to like this. Make sure you don't overspread that. This one I end up using a little more to get the same amount of hydration, but I think they're both incredible. They're incredible products. I'm telling you guys, this line is slept on. Slept on. We're gonna go ahead and talk about the entire face category all together. So I've had a lot of e.l.f. mists over the course of my life. These are the only two that I still have, and I've bought these multiple times. So the Hydrating Coconut Mist. This is a setting spray. This is a great spray to use either as a toning step or after you've finished your makeup and before you've used fixing mist. It helps to blend together the powders on your face, you know, make your blush look more like it's a part of your skin instead of sitting on top of your skin. Absolutely gorgeous mist. It does have quite a scent to it, but for some reason that scent gets along with my skin. You know, that's just one of those cases of if it works for you, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I truly, truly love this. It rivals high-end mists, absolutely, in my opinion. I also enjoy the Makeup Mist In Set as my fixing spray. See, I wish that all these companies would be a little more transparent about what their mists are supposed to be used for. This one is the one that helps to extend the wear of your makeup. I don't actually know if these are still available on the e.l.f. website. I have a video about the mix to match adjusters. I personally love them, and I worry that e.l.f. is going to discontinue them. This one right here helps to make my foundations match my slightly more olive skin, and this one helps to lighten foundations because I tend to, I don't know why, but I tend to buy foundations that are a little bit too deep for me as opposed to too light. And then with foundation, I actually only have the Flawless Finish foundation. I don't mind it. I know this one gets a lot of hype, and I think in some ways it is deserved. But it's not a personal favorite for me. Granted, I bought the wrong shade, and that's something with this Flawless Finish foundation. I swear, every review I've ever watched on this, the person speaking is like, well, I accidentally bought one that's too dark for me. Yeah, what is that? Why do we do that? Okay, so this is the shade Sand, and I can kind of pull it off in the depths of summer, but especially putting it on the lightest part of my skin, which is my inner arm, yeah, it's gonna look way too deep for me, but I'll tell you what, it's alright. It's not bad, you know, it's a little bit more of a medium coverage foundation. So what I've been doing with this is I do mix in my mix to match adjuster, but you know, it actually wears quite nicely. I don't love the scent of it, but it is nothing like the scent of the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation. Yeah, it's nothing like that. It does have a more floral type of scent to it. Yeah, it's not bad. It's just not a personal favorite, but you know, maybe I'd feel differently if I bought the right shade. So take this part of this video how you will. On the other hand, this right here, the Hydrating Camo Concealer, ooh, this is really nice. You know, when the original Camo Concealer came out, I wasn't that interested in it, but the second they came out with the hydrating version, since I have dry skin, I was like, we're gonna try it. This one is the shade Fair Beige. Ooh, it's a very nice color correcting concealer for me because it does have a little bit of pink to it, and I like to use that under my eyes since the pink kind of cancels out blue. Really, really beautiful. It is never too heavy. And funny enough, that's all I use these days. I stopped using high-end concealers just because I prefer these drugstore concealers. So it's beautiful, no creasing, wears just so nicely. This is such a winner. This is the Total Face Sponge, and this is an incredible little hidden gem. It's a little bit soft in comparison to some sponges on the market, but also really dense, so it doesn't absorb too much of your foundation. Yeah, I actually really love it. I don't use this side as much as I thought I would. I kind of just hold it and use it more like this. But yeah, this is a really nice little $5 sponge. And then I have two powders. To be honest with you, I really think the Prime and Stay Finishing Powder is another hidden gem. This is a great powder to use with a tiny little setting brush under your eye. Let me see if I got one. Here we go. This is one from EcoTools. It's dirty, apologies. But something like this right up under your eye. Oh, this is a great little powder. I also have the e.l.f. face powder, the e.l.f. Active face powder. I know this is still available, but I'm going to tell you honestly, I don't recommend these types of products. I think that it's a good idea in theory, but I've never in my life, not high-end nor drugstore, discovered a powder in this design that actually works correctly. I still own one from, let's see, Ilia. I've had some from other brands before. So at least, if you're going to try this system, I guess try it from e.l.f. These products are all just better in theory than in practice. I do think this one is now on sale on the e.l.f. website, but yeah, it's just stick with loose powder if you're going to use it, because these they just don't work. So next up we'll do the eyeshadow category. I'm sorry if you can see my fan reflecting in this. Let's just go ahead and get the palettes over with, so we don't have to keep looking at that. So this is the Opposites Attract eyeshadow palette. I honestly think the quality of this is very, very good. The color scheme is a little bit on the different side. I think you'll kind of either love it or hate it. And, okay, so with e.l.f.'s eyeshadow formula, it is a little more powdery than some that are higher end, but it is still very easy to work with, and you can really, really get a beautiful end look. This is honestly the only palette that I pulled out of my originally was going to declutter collection because, see, the thing about e.l.f.'s formula is that it's very, very good, but I don't love the packaging. I think it kind of does look a little bit more cheap. It gets a little scratched up too. But yeah, it's a really good, very workable formula. Same deal with these little palettes. This one is the Need It Nude. This is actually really, really nice. You know, again, you might swatch it and think it's kind of just okay, but the looks you can make with this are gorgeous. It's really, look at that. That's actually gorgeous pigmentation. I'm not doing any tricks here to make this look more intense. That's really what you get. And you know, some palettes swatch better, but they're still harder to work with. So I actually think, yeah, I think e.l.f. has a fantastic eyeshadow formula. And you guys have probably heard about these by now. These are the new bite size formulas. Oh my gosh, these are so good. Such little, these are $3 palettes. I paid $4. I'm kind of mad about that. It turns out they're $3, but I went to CVS, and CVS, for whatever reason, charges more for e.l.f. But this is the palette I'm wearing in my What's New in Skincare video. Look at that. That's some of the most, they've improved the formula. They've improved their formula since even this. Look at that. Just absolutely stunning. I've heard the bite-size palettes can be hit or miss, but I bought the, let's see, this one is Hot Jalapeno. Oh, so good. And then here's just a couple more eye products. I actually really think these are underrated. This is Nude Linen. I forget what the name of these are, but I'll put it somewhere on the screen. These are really nice for a one eyeshadow look. You just kind of put it on and then, you know, blend it upwards. Really, really fast and easy and look great. They don't crease. They just look really nice all day. I have much more expensive variations on this theme. These are good. This is the e.l.f. Smudge Pot, and I expect it to be discontinued soon just because they've removed a lot of the shades off the website. And I'm really sad about it because it's such a beautiful product. I guess it's just not a category that a lot of people are using right now, but really a shame. Again, one of these left, but you know, they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous products. And then last, we have the e.l.f. Glitter Primer. So this is $2. No, I think because of inflation, I think it's now $3 or $4. But this is really a good glitter primer. I'm going to be honest with you that it is not my absolute favorite glitter primer, but here's what I think. I think this entire category of glitter eyeshadow primer is underrated because people don't realize that you are not limited to using this with loose glitters or even glitter eyeshadows. You can use these under a shimmer eyeshadow and you will get such a gorgeous end look. It's equivalent to spraying your brush to intensify your eyeshadow, but with less creasing, less kind of building up the shadow too much, which happens to me when I spray my brush. I think this is a category that I just wish everybody would try. This is a product where you use about that much, okay? And then you spread it out on your eye and then add your shimmer eyeshadow. Don't use this where you blend, use a different primer. Just use this where you're putting your shimmer eyeshadow. I'm telling you guys, I think it's a life-changing type of product, although e.l.f.'s is not my absolute favorite, it's worth trying. So the next category is going to be mascara, eyeliner, and brows. And you might notice that I don't have any e.l.f. mascaras nor eyeliners. Now, here's the truth. In my personal opinion, of course, I don't think that e.l.f.'s mascaras are the best on the market. I would point you towards Essence mascaras instead. And same deal with eyeliner. I got to admit that I think Maybelline does a better job here. Of course, they're not cruelty-free, so that's a bummer. But yeah, I just personally, I have tried e.l.f.'s eyeliners and mascaras, and they just didn't stand out to me enough to have them still in my collection. With brow products, though, I actually have to be honest that I like the Instant Lift brow pencil. It is a $2 brow pencil, and it's not bad. This one is neutral brown, so it actually is. It's actually quite neutral, but there's a reason I don't reach for it every single day and why it's not my absolute favorite, and that's that it is kind of a fat brow pencil. You know, obviously Benefit's Precisely My Brow is a lot thinner. Let me not forget there's a reason I'm filming on the table instead of at my filming area, and that's so I can show you guys comparisons. So this is the Benefit Precisely My Brow. Look at the size difference. You see that? That is a massive size difference. If you want more precision, these are a lot better. Ulta's is a pretty small size as well. There we go. This is the full comparison that I want to show you. So Instant Lift Brow Pencil, $2 from e.l.f. Benefit Precisely My Brow, what is that, $23 now? And then the Ulta Brow Pencil, which you can get for about $5 in their sales. Obviously, I'd point you towards the Ulta one for the best precision, but you know, if you're on a really tight budget, it's very true that the e.l.f. one can give you a good end look. You just may have to work with it a little more. So I also have the Clear Brow Wax, and this too is a really good product, even if I do prefer others at this point. It's a thick product, and it too is hard to get precision with this, but I think if you have fluffier brows, I think you could love this. What I do is kind of comb it into my brows. That's supposed to be the shape of a brow. You see that? Look at that shape. Beautiful, Alice. And then grab a spoolie and brush it upwards. Your brows will definitely feather. They will. You guys, we're getting into some of my favorite products here. We're going to talk about highlighter, blush, and bronzer. Okay, so these are the face palettes. Let me start with the little e.l.f. Active Workout Ready Lip and Cheek palette. I think this was the biggest hit from the e.l.f. Active collection. These are really nice, especially these two for cheek colors. I don't love the bronzer as much. It's a little bit warm for my preferences. The highlighter's really pretty. I mean, honestly, this little guy right here gives you a similar look to RMS. This right here is the natural face palette, and it is not my favorite. I like a much more intense highlighter and blush than you get in here. But this right here, why have I not been using this? So this is the e.l.f. bronzer palette, and I think, you know, I haven't been using it because I think in my head I tend to assume that I just use one bronzer shade, whereas this one has two mattes in it and then two shimmers. I really hope I'm catching this well on camera. So, you know, I wasn't really using it, but I pulled this out recently and I realized this makes absolutely gorgeous looks. The best way to use this is to go in with your matte bronzer first and then dust the shimmer on top. You guys, it looks so freaking natural on. We'll do some real-time swatches. Here we go. Look at that. That's absolutely gorgeous. Ugh. So yeah, this is underrated even by me. I don't know why I've been sleeping on a palette in my own collection. It's gorgeous. Next category, blushes and highlighters. Oh my gosh, I have some absolute favorites here, and if you know me, you already know what they are. These right here, the Primer-Infused Shimmer Blush and the Primer-Infused Matte Blush. Absolutely stunning. Alright, we'll do some swatches here. So this is the shimmer one in Always Preppy. Just absolutely gorgeous. So, so pretty. And then here is Always Peachy in the matte formula. It is a little more powdery for some reason, but blends out so nicely. Those are just absolutely stunning, stunning, high quality blushes. They wear all day. I think they're some of e.l.f.'s best releases of all time, to be honest with you. The only con I have with these is that the packaging gets kind of scratched up, if you can possibly see that. But you know, it's not that big of a deal. It looks so nice on, and that's what you really buy makeup for, at least in my opinion. Now, in the category of highlighters, do you guys remember these? These are still around. Oh, yeah, I hate that e.l.f. doesn't put the names of their products on the products, but the baked highlighters, I don't think these are available anymore. This was the baked highlighter and blush, but these definitely are. So these are okay, but you have to scrape the top off of them. I think that's one of those old school tricks that a lot of you watching probably know. If you do that, you really do get quite a very pretty highlighter from it. But if that's not enough pigmentation for you, loose highlighters are always going to give you more pigment. I think this is the only product left from the e.l.f. Nabila Noor collection. I hope I'm saying that correctly. That was a great collection. Incredible collection. So one particular day I didn't close this up properly, so now we have this situation to deal with. But yeah, these are always going to be the highest pigment blushes, or highlighters, excuse me, just because they are loose, so you're getting a ton of color payoff. But these highlighters, and again, we have a situation of, what is the actual name? Sirens Call highlighter. I forget the name of this, but these are really, really nice highlighters. If you're looking for this soft yellow highlighter, oh my gosh, this particular one is just so, so pretty. It's exactly what I was looking for. This was the collection where they had blue and green and purple highlighters, and these have been on sale quite a few times, so worth grabbing in a sale for sure. Second to last category for this video, I want to talk about e.l.f.'s lip products. I'm gonna give you a big, giant, sweeping statement that could be inaccurate if there are products that I haven't tried yet, but here's my experience with e.l.f. lip products in general. So I find that they are really, really nice to give you initial color payoff, very pretty, you know, very affordable, but I've never found the wear on e.l.f.'s lip products to be incredible. Now, that's not necessarily terrible. I mean, if you're the kind of person who is fine with carrying a bullet lipstick, totally fine, right? But, you know, just something to note, I don't think they have the best longevity of drugstore lip products. I would say, again, brands like Milani, actually. I would go with Milani or Maybelline lipsticks for longevity, but these are there's still some great products here. So I have one of the Velvet Matte. Yeah, see, now we figured out to write the names on the products. I have one of the Velvet Matte lipsticks and one of the moisturizing lipsticks. Helps if I can read my own writing. Here's the moisturizing one, and that's the shade Pink Minx. That is very, very pretty. That's a gorgeous color. And then Fuchsia Fantasy and the Velvet Matte. Of course, I'm swatching over some of that remaining highlighter shimmer, so it may not look as matte as it actually is, but both of those are nice, you know. I actually don't like this particular one. This is the Beautifully Bare Satin Lipstick. I find it really kind of smudges a lot on me. I think they actually have discontinued this collection, and I believe the, what are they called, these Seriously Satin lipsticks have replaced them. I haven't tried those yet, but I've heard good things. The lip lacquers have been around forever. These are quite nice. They don't dry down, just kind of your typical gloss with some nice color to it. Those are just fine, but you know, of course, those need to be reapplied. I no longer have any of the original matte liquid lipsticks from e.l.f., but I do have the Sheer Matte in the shade Nude Rose. This is nice. I'd say this is a dupe for the Lime Crime Plushies lipsticks. This whole category of lip products, be it plushies or this particular one, are kind of just meant to give you a blotted look on your lips in the form of a matte liquid lipstick, and I do feel that's what you get from this, but of course that also means it does fade quickly. However, it is a lot, so much more comfortable than your standard matte liquid lipstick. So I actually think this collection was this was quite underrated, actually. I think if they'd come out with this years ago while matte liquid lipsticks were still trending, it would have been a whole lot more popular. And I do have one of the lip exfoliators. I think you either love this or hate this. I personally do not like this style. In fact, I probably need to throw this one out. It looks kinda, doesn't look too appealing, does it? But yeah, you either love these or hate these. I just personally prefer a potted lip scrub, but it's nice for convenience, and I think that's the popularity of these. This right here is the Runway Ready Lip Palette. Listen, if you don't own a lip palette, let me just explain what these are to you. So this is a product where you can either apply your own lipstick, you can put your fingers in and just kind of give a blotted look to your lips, or you can use the lip brush and potentially mix the colors together and make as many lip colors as you want. But I'm going to tell you the facts here. The vast majority of people do not use these on a daily basis, and I wish I'd figured out that I was one of them before I bought, in particular, that Anastasia lip palette that I used for all of one day, and then I don't think I ever touched it again. I don't know why I bought this, given that I already knew this about myself, but here we are. And you know, the thing is, yes, it's a nice product if you are one of the, 2% of people that use this type of product, but if you're not, I would just tell you you're probably never going to use it. That's all I would say. It's fun, at least, you know, at least buy the e.l.f. one instead of the Anastasia one. And also, same deal for me with this as the other lipsticks. It's nice, but it just doesn't last that long on the lips. And especially with the lip palette, I find that to be not that great. So again, I don't think most people should buy this because I don't think you'll use it. And before we end this video, and I know it is such a long one, but I want to make sure I mention these guys really quickly. So we have the e.l.f. Mixing Palette. That's something that is very useful if you are the kind of person who needs to mix two foundations in order to get your perfect shade. And then the Makeup Remover Cleansing Cloths. I do think those are good. I think they work just as well as higher end options, but if you know my channel, you know I gotta really quickly say, I definitely recommend a makeup removing balm or oil overusing cleansing cloths, especially on a daily basis, but you know, cleansing cloths can be helpful in emergency type of situations. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. As is always the case, feel free to leave your thoughts. I haven't tried everything out there from e.l.f. If you have and you want to contribute your thoughts, feel free. My comment section is always open. If you guys enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, hit subscribe, and I will see you all next time.